thoughtful ideas and suggestions for guests and topics.
Great events, programs, and all the countries and
Welcome to this week's segment of Dialogue Houston. I'm your host, Lawrence Payne. To our regular viewing audience, welcome. To those joining us perhaps for the first time here for HCC's TV Dialogue Houston, we can be found now every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 a.m. and again at 6 p.m., Saturday afternoons at 3 p.m. Also now, because we're doing the Zoom version, you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and you can always go to the HCC website and call us up on demand. As always, from the previous shows, let me thank you for your calls and emails and text messages. We appreciate that from last week's show, and your thoughtful ideas for guests and topics to be covered on upcoming segments of Dialogue Houston. For after all, this is your community affairs, public affairs show here on HCC TV, proudly in this 27th season as the HCC's wonderful system begins to celebrate its 50th anniversary. We have a great show planned for you today because, as you know from watching with us last week, we launched a new series, a new part of Dialogue Houston, in conjunction with our wonderful Houston Public Library. It is the version that looks at living in new knowledge. And the name comes from the link card. This library card is called the link card. And this series and this section is called Living in New Knowledge. We will feature on a regular basis the great work and opportunities that the new knowledge brings and awaits you at your Houston Public Library. Proudly serving the citizens of Houston since 1904, it has truly been a valuable link to the world in helping us to understand things going forward. You can have access, as always, free of charge to the great resources of the Houston Public Library. All you need is a library card. The wonderful link card, right here, the link card, my link card. The link card, this card, and your PIN number will get you access that you need. If you do not have a card, you may do so by going online and applying for the electronic version of the card that is valid until August 1st. Or call 832-393-1313 or go to the website, www.houstonlibrary.org. We have two wonderful guests this week at the Houston Public Library. Two great friends and colleagues that I'm really proud and happy to have join us on the show this week. In the first segment, we will have our wonderful Rick Peralez, who is the wonderful Assistant Director of Digital Strategies for Houston Public Library. And after the break, we'll be joined by our own Laurie Covington, who is the Assistant Director of Customer Experience. So without further ado, let me bring on Rick and say, welcome, Rick. How are you?
Hello, Larry. How are you? I'm good.
Great to have you join us. It is wonderful to have you as the head of the digital strategies, because before COVID-19, it was about digital strategies going forward. Now it really is about digital strategy going forward in the world that we're going to live in. But as you have worked and see the ongoing reopening of libraries, how and when will some of our libraries reopen to the public?
First of all, the library is open to the public virtually and online. You know, customers can still engage with us through our website, mobile app, telephone, and email. And furthermore, to help make up for our building closures, we are providing our customers access to a much stronger collection of ebooks, databases, and online services. That said, libraries will be opening in a phased approach while paying very close attention to the COVID-19 environment. You know, obviously the health and safety of our staff and our customers is the highest consideration. You know, we anticipate that the first phase will provide curbside pickup of books and materials similar to what you see now in stores. Customers will be able to place their orders through our website, mobile app, and even the telephone. And customers will be notified when their books are ready for curbside pickup. The big difference for libraries, though, from retail stores is that we are also making provisions to accept customer book returns as part of this curbside service. So we anticipate that curbside service will start in June at least 10 library locations throughout the city, taking into account geography, equity of access, complete communities, council districts, and building capacities for this new service model or new mode of service that we'll be providing. The exact locations that will start providing curbside service are still being finalized. Days and hours for curbside services are also still being finalized, but will include evening and weekend hours. And when plans are finalized and approved, we will have a press release providing all of that information. Also put it on our website and through our mobile app and through our social media channels. Our library book drops will be reopening May 18th at all the previously open locations to allow our customers to start returning library materials. And subsequent phases of reopening libraries will include in-building computer access, while of course observing all COVID-19 related rules and guidelines, including, physical distancing. Furthermore, we understand that in this environment, there is a tremendous need for connectivity. And we will continue our hotspot lending program as devices become available and as part of our new curbside service model.
As in the past, will tablets and laptops be part of the curbside?
Yes, as devices become available, we will certainly engage them in that service as well.
Talk to me a little bit more about the hotspots, because those have become very important with all these children out of school and trying to do their lessons and their homework, etc. So for some it's been difficult, but we've also been able to help them do that around the library, have we not?
Yes, Larry. The library started the Hotspot Program a couple of years ago. And of course, as you can imagine, the demand for hotspots and connectivity around the city is very high. There's a lot of need, and certainly that was obviously further exposed with this COVID-19 environment. And so we have a limited supply. And when we closed our doors, customers were in possession at that time of some of these hotspots. And what the library did was we allowed customers to continue using them during this period to allow them the connectivity. And while we made plans for eventually reopening, but during this time, the library's inventory of hotspots has remained serving customers.
And we mentioned this briefly, tablets and laptops, as you said, when they become available. But those also can be taken out through the library, can they not?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I know that those have been on demand too.
Yes.
Let me ask the question that everybody's asking about everything related to do with anything to do with money. What about fines and fees while we've been closed? What's going to happen with those?
The library has been automatically extending due dates of all books and materials that have come due while our library buildings have been closed, and we have obviously not been able to accept returns. So the good news is that no fine and fees have been accrued to any of our customer accounts as a result.
Yay.
Yes. And even once we start accepting returns, we want our customers to take their time in returning books to us to give us the opportunity to gradually take in all these outstanding material in a safe way, because we will be quarantining all incoming materials. And furthermore, the due dates of books will continue to be extended out until January 1st of 2021. The extra good news is that we will also be forgiving late fees for any books returned that even if they were due before COVID-19. So anybody that has an outstanding book out there with late fees, we will be forgiving those if that material gets returned to us. So
you mean that stack of books that I hadn't returned before COVID-19 that have been accumulating? I can bring them back now with no penalties?
That's right.
You have said the magic word, Rick. A lot of books gonna get returned that's been sitting around.
Yeah. So the more
is there-
books we can get back, the more customers we can continue to serve. So
there you go.
So,
And you said the magic word also, that everything is being done with safety obviously in mind, both for the customers and for the library staff. And that the way we do that and take them in and process them and make sure that they are clean and sanitized and safe again becomes utmost at this point in time, does it not?
yes, certainly. And staff will be using gloves and masks when handling materials, and all materials will be quarantined before they are delivered to customers in plastic bags when we do the curbside. And of course, we are receiving guidance from the proper health and safety experts, including Houston Health Department and of course the CDC, and to keep our staff and the public as safe as possible. And this is one of the reasons that we have been cautious in our approach to reopening, and to ensure that we are following the latest advice and guidance from our health experts.
Rick, just because I have you here and because you are the digital strategies person, the library has been doing a lot of creative things to get the word out in this environment that we're in vis-a-vis technology and internet, et cetera. But as you look kind of down the road, and the library science and the library technical aspects of the digital side of this is really where things are headed. It was headed that way kind of before, but now it's really headed that way. Is it not?
Yes, that is correct, Larry, and that's an excellent observation, is that we were headed in that direction. And I think what COVID-19 environment has done for us is just accelerated that. The library virtual presence essentially becomes our new front door, so going forward, should there be any kind of recurrence or any kind of related pandemic related issues, the goal is to be positioned so that we can continue to serve our customers even during those times.
Very good, thank you. I want to make sure I had a chance to give you a chance to get that in, because I think it's a very important piece going forward. Well, I want to thank you, Rick, for being on Dialogue Houston, the wonderful special edition of the Houston Public Library. And we're going to probably have you on again down the road a little bit as we look into how this digital world is changing rapidly for all of us, and continue to follow the great work that you and the Houston Public Library are doing. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Larry.
We're going to take a small pause and break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by our good friend, Laurie Covington, the Assistant Director of Customer Experience for the Houston Public Library, which will dive into all the programs that are coming up for this summer. So please stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to this week's segment of Dialogue Houston. This is a very special edition featuring the Houston Public Library. I want to thank you all for joining us and being part of this show. As I mentioned before the break, we're being joined by Laurie Covington, who is the Assistant Director for Customer Experience at our own Houston Public Library. Welcome, Laurie.
Hi, welcome.
So great to have you here. Let's just dive right in, because you got a lot to tell us about. The library, like everyone else, is doing things a little differently now with COVID-19, because we're all kind of having the challenges and facing the opportunities to do so. But programming continues, and we have some great things coming up at your Houston Public Library. So please tell us what they are.
Right. So like Rick said, we have enhanced a lot of our online access so that you can get even more audiobooks and ebooks and comic books through some of our resources, including Overdrive, Access 360, Hoopla, and Comic Plus. We also even have digital magazines now with Flipster and RB Digital. So you can read those latest magazines and you don't even have to try to go to a store or pick it up or go to Amazon or anything like that. We also have streaming movies and TV with Acorn TV and Hoopla. There's also some new services, even including some Spanish novellas, which are kind of fun. And if you love music, you can stream the entire Sony music catalog through Freegal. And you can even watch concerts and all sorts of fun things like that. For summer, we're really excited about our John P. McGovern summer reading program. This year is going to be completely virtual, but it still has the same fun that we always do. So all ages are invited to participate, where they can earn virtual badges for both reading, going on virtual tours, participating in our virtual programs, and doing other activities. So we're not going to focus so much on prizes this year. We're doing everything digitally, so it's those digital badges. We're trying to kind of slow things down a little bit. You know, sometimes we take the blessing in disguise and sort of, you know, use this time to slow down and spend some time with family and maybe read together as a family and try to emphasize how important reading is to children. Because you've all heard, everybody's heard about the summer slide. Somebody said to me today, there's the COVID slide.
Yes, there is, and will be.
And there will be. And so we want to make sure that kids are still reading and that they're still enjoying reading. And it's not work, but something that's fun and something that can be a good leisure activity. And so we want kids to read on a daily basis. So we want them to read 20 minutes a day. And for every 10 days that they read those 20 minutes, then they can collect a digital badge. And then at the end of, you know, when we get back to more normal operations, we'll be able to give them the books that they would have gotten if we were open regular hours.
You know, you mentioned that Sony catalog. There are some great music on that catalog, and you can access the whole catalog, which was amazing to me. You can find all
Right, it's like 9.5 million songs. So it's
Right.
like you basically could start now and you might not even finish.
There you go. It will definitely keep you busy, right? A new
Right.
tune every hour. Listen, when you mentioned the summer reading program, even though, as you mentioned, we're doing it a little different this year because we have to. I remember growing up as a kid in my little hometown, in my little public library in Orange, Texas. My reading list for the summer of the books that we read was probably one of the most joyous times I had. The summer reading program of working through that list and being able to say at the end that you read them all, you accomplished your goal, and you got your little star, and you got your little badge, was one of those proudest moments. And I think it's going to be, as you mentioned, very important this summer, particularly with the slide that has already occurred by this semester not happening, basically, to not lose any more ground, as you mentioned in the COVID slide. The reading program of our reading becomes so important in that process, does it not?
It does. And I mean, the beauty of our reading program is that you can read what you want to read. So if
Right.
you're somebody who loves Harry Potter, you can read Harry Potter over and over again. That's fine. If you've got younger siblings, you can read to your younger siblings, and that can count. And that's what it's beautiful. You know, you can have a 10-year-old reading to their 3-year-old brother or sister. But also, if you don't like fiction and you want to learn how to repair stuff, you can read the Toaster Manual, and that's fine because it's reading. And that's the thing that's important, is it doesn't really matter what you're reading. You want to make sure that you're reading. And enjoying it, because you don't want reading to be work. Reading should be fun. Reading should be that fun activity that people look forward to and not something that they dread.
Correct. One of the things we've always done during the summer, which we're doing again this year through the Youth Public Library, but in a different, obviously, manner and format, is Camp Scream. Tell us about Camp Scream.
Right. So Camp Stream, just like the summer reading program, will also be virtual. Registration is open now. There are still some spots left. We're going to be doing 6 camps, sort of spread. There's 2 each month. So the first camp is sort of geared towards the Acres Homes area, because we're still doing it regionally so that we can drop off packets for the campers so that they can be able to get the essential items that they will need to participate along with camp. So we're going to use Zoom, kind of like what we're doing right now, and so that the campers will log on, and the camp will last. It'll be a little bit shorter than normal, because normally we do it as a full day camp. So it'll be from like 8:30 to 2:30 or 3 o'clock, but there'll be fun interactive activities separated by grade level. So there's 4 different grades, 4 different age groups, and they'll each have individualized activities focusing on what Camp STREAM is. So STREAM is science, technology, engineering, reading. I'm sorry, I'm doing that wrong. Science, technology, reading, engineering, arts, and mathematics.
Don't worry, everybody gets it's hard.
I can't spell, obviously. But so, I mean, it's still very, I mean, it's activity driven. We're going to also be talking about the summer reading program as part of it because we want our campers to also participate in the reading program.
And that's important because another great fun activity that you can do together as a family from home. Tell us about other resources available on our webpage.
So we are doing lots of online programming, virtual programming. So you can catch those live story times every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And sometimes we throw in extra ones if there's special events going on. We're also doing crafts and STEM activities that are using household materials. So paper, pens, paper plates, straws, toothpicks, things that you have around your house so that you can follow along and do either the activity or the craft with us. But then also we have a great, huge number of resources that are out there for people to use. One of the ones that I'd like to talk about a lot is lynda.com or LinkedIn Learning, because it's basically YouTube for professional videos.
Yes,
So,
and
you know, you can go on YouTube and you can find lots of videos about various things, but Lynda is even better because these are focused, professionally developed that are going to teach you something. You can learn how to be a public speaker. You can learn how to do PowerPoint. You can learn how to take photographs. You can learn a little bit about anything you kind of want to on Lynda, and you can access it free with your Houston Public Library card. There's also really great resources. You know, this is a time, maybe you have a little extra time on your hands and you want to learn a new language. So we have resources called Pronunciator and Transparent Languages. And we also have a new one, which is Rosetta Stone. So you can learn a new language. And they usually have self-guided, and you can sort of have your own curriculum developed, and you can, you know, become bilingual in this quarantine time.
All right, and remember the key to all of that is your MyLink library card, which you must have. All right, before we run out of time here, I want to pick up on what Rick said and let you kind of also expand it a little bit. As we phase in our openings of the libraries going forward, what services will be changed or different when the library is reopened?
Well, we're still figuring that out because we're, you know, everything is kind of, this new normal is kind of not that normal right now. But before we closed in March, we had already sort of started. We had pulled some computers out, we had pulled some chairs out so that we could allow for social distancing or physical distancing. We're continuing to do that. So we're preparing, there will be, you know, the library, when you come back to the library, it will be different. There may be fewer tables and chairs, there may be fewer computers. But we want to make sure that we still allow for the safety of both the staff and the customers. Right now, our meeting rooms are going to stay closed. We're probably not going to start passport services right away because, you know, there's just only so much that we can do. We're focusing on virtual programming and not kind of going to look at in-person programming until a little bit farther down the road. But luckily, because of that robust virtual programming, we have lots in which we can you know, offer for customers. And the beautiful thing is that now, instead of having to be at the library at a particular time because of a program, you can catch it whenever you have time. So you can just log on to our Facebook page. You probably could sit there and spend hours watching all of the content that we've already recorded and broadcast.
Laurie, I want to thank you. We're about out of time for this segment, but I really appreciate all the information you've shared and given us. We'll have you on, I'm sure, going down the road on future segments of Dialogue Use, the special edition HPL. And again, thank you very much, and continue all the great services and work we do. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. It's great to talk to you.
All righty. A couple of closing remarks and comments here and thoughts. As we continue to discern together what the next new normal will be and the next new normal version of that after that, I think it's important that we continue to show everyone a little COVID-19 love. Wear your face mask, wash your hands, keep your distance. And I think it's important to remember that why we wear our face masks. We wear our face mask not for me. I don't wear my face mask for myself. I wear it for my neighbor, for others. It is important that we understand the common humanity of the crisis we're going through, the needs, concerns of the others, the position that this has put us all in. Some have said we're all in the same boat. Well, that's really not true. We're in different boats with different needs, with different concerns, with different histories, with different experiences, with different understanding, But the thing we can all do for each other is help protect our health and protect each other's health by doing some very simple things, of wearing our masks, washing our hands, and keeping our distance. Another thing you can do for your community at large, because it helps us all and it brings in the resources we need that we all gain from. If you have not filled out your census yet, please do so. Again, it's the same thing with the face mask. You're not filling it out for you, you're filling it out for us. It's not an I and me kind of operation, it's the we and us. The resources that we get back to our community from the census properly being filled out, the numbers and the money, comes to the service of all of us, the needs and concerns of all of us as a community, as we build and grow together. So it's important that we take care of ourselves, but understand that we're helping to take care of ourselves so we can be of service and help others. Who's our neighbor? How do we understand community? This is the time to really reflect on that. The Houston Public Library, all of its resources as a public library are to services for all human beings, access for everyone, free to everyone. And so it's very important that we continue to understand our role and parts in doing this. So until next week, until we come together again, be safe, be well, and as always, peace, power, and love.